All right, Keleisha, I think this has been a long time coming. I haven't seen you in a while.
It's been forever.
I haven't seen you in a
months,
while.
and we're in the same city.
We're in the same city, right down the street. I want to bring to light your unique business and some of the cool things that you're doing with private money.
Yeah.
Because I see you're definitely hustling it. It's cool. You should be proud of your growth.
Thank you.
I want to bring to light what that looks like because I think it's a less talked about niche of the real estate industry. So if you wouldn't mind giving us just like a brief background about you and what you do with your private money raising and lending business.
No, perfect. Yeah. So I got into real estate, raising private money because coming into the real estate market industry, I was told that I cannot get a loan because I'm not a U.S. citizen.
Right.
And then I realized that I want to get into real estate, but there has to be a way without doing it traditionally.
Yeah.
And then I had friends and family who were like, hey, I believe in you and see what you're doing. Here's money. At that time, I had no clue I was using other people's money.
Yeah.
And then I was okay.
It was just a necessity.
I just needed it. And then we're like, okay, we're taking this money. We need to put something in writing. Literally Googled promissory note because I want a bigger pocket to talk about promissory note.
Okay.
Googled promissory note.
Yeah.
And then just choose a template and sign it and gave it to them. There wasn't no mortgage, no nothing like that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, we need to keep doing this. And I was like, if I can figure out the right way to use other people's money, explain the process, make sure I protect myself and the investor, then I want to keep doing this. So I kind of invested in my knowledge. Yeah. And then just started like, okay, I kind of like this thing. And just connecting with people, find out people have capital that they want to invest in real estate, but they don't know how. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to be your gal.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend yesterday, and I feel, just to make this, I definitely relate to it, to make it relatable to me, is like every business idea that I've grown was the realization of an untapped, unmet need. And so I definitely hear that that's pretty much the case with you as well. Yeah, so you saw that not only were you able to expand upon this opportunity for yourself, you're like other people could benefit from this who need to either borrow or get equity in their project, and other people have a desire to enter in that.
And the crazy thing is people always think that they always hear about using other people's money, but you throw those terms around. Yeah. But then what I realized is that when persons truly understand how valuable using other people's money is especially to grow their portfolio, has been like game changer. And I got into helping other people raise money for their projects because I realized that I would raise money for my projects. Sometimes I don't have that specific project, and then I would just tap into my network. And I'd be like, hey, I have this investor who wants money. Yeah. And then from doing that, I was like, wait, this could be a thing if I structure it in a way where I make sure I'm protecting that investor coming in, making sure that they're invested in the right deal. Yeah. I could turn this into a business model. Yeah.
Well, let's talk more about it if you're down to dive in.
Oh, let's do it.
All right. So how do you protect the investor? What are some steps that you take to make sure that's the case?
One of the main things is making sure that particular deal is able to pull the investors' monies out. So in most cases, I work with like fix and flippers where they have the hard money lender, they come in with first position. Yeah. So they need that gap funding, which will go in second. So I am making sure that particular deal, worst case scenario, is able to pull out the person in second.
Yeah. And there may be listeners or viewers who we have today who are newer to real estate. So like, obviously, I think I know what you're saying, but it comes down really to like the ARV and the exit price to make sure there is enough funds
available
so that the flipper, especially if they're a newer flipper, they're not having to go to the closing table out of pocket.
There you go.
Yeah.
So a prime example for that is if your hard money lender is giving you 85% and you need 15% plus closing costs, whatever that amount is, you're like, hey, Keleisha, I need this amount to help with the gap funding. And then that's how an investor can be quote unquote zero out of pocket. You can also go a step further where if you need reserves, you can raise the 15% plus the closing costs plus the reserves from a private lender.
Yeah. So in that situation though, you're over, is that 100%, is that loan to cost or loan to value?
Loan to cost.
Right.
Yeah.
So you still want to be under the 100% loan to value because then obviously there's no,
there you go.
There's no
So
money.
Even with that, if they are able to take the 15, the closing costs and the hold-in, we got to make sure that, okay, if they should sell this property, worst case scenario, that deal needs to have, I think we put a rule of thumb of 12% net profit or 30,000, whichever is greater after all the cost.
How did you come up with that metric?
Doing deals,
Yeah.
to be honest, is really just doing stuff and accounting for the worst of utilities, insurance, holding costs, all those things, purchase, rehab, reserves, and be like, hey, worst case scenario, if things change, will you be able to pull the entire money out of the deal without like going out of pocket? Another thing that we look on is, let's say you cannot sell the property.
Yeah.
It's sitting on the market for 4 months.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Are you able to refinance? So what we do is also looking, okay, 75% of the ARV, whatever that amount is, your project cost needs to be that amount or less.
Yeah. So if some of these metrics aren't being hit, do you just say, to borrowers of yours that are coming to you and say, Keleisha, I could use some private money, is it just a no? Or are there other, go ahead.
It would most likely it's a no, but we're like, hey, this is why. If you're able to show that I have another property that I can cross collateralize.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah. So a lot of times the deal is, it can be tight on paper, right?
It can be, in terms of numbers.
Yeah, the margins are super thin, but the investor has a property where they have enough equity in that property. And how we figure that out is, what is the property worth now? What is the underlying debt? Then whatever that difference is, we estimate for the equity. So let's say, for example, if we need $50,000 extra, and if that property has an equity of like 80,000, we're like, okay, if anything happens, he can refinance, he can do a cash out refinance, he can do something to pull out that extra 50 to pay off that investor. But we have deals where it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And we let that investor know why.
What's the mechanism you prefer for the cross collateralization? If there is, if my numbers are tight and I want to borrow another 25 grand on one of my projects, but I have, say it's my primary residence with $200,000 of equity, it sounds like that would meet your metrics. What documents are you doing to make sure that I don't then go and sell during this other project going on? I don't go and sell it and not tell anybody. Do you understand what I'm saying?
And it's crazy because a non-negotiable is the promissory note. So the promissory note is usually just an agreement to say, hey, Keleisha agreed to pay James X amount. That's usually like sign, notarize.
Yeah.
But the main thing is your recorded mortgage. And that's usually the security that you use to put a lien against the property. Now, before we even draft the mortgage or anything like that, we run and ask title to run a title search. Because we want to make sure there's no additional liens on that property and we're actually going in second lien or whatever lien position we agreed to.
Yeah.
We've had times where a person's like, hey, like you'll be in second lien, and we run a title search. And we found out there are like 3-4 more liens on the property. So we're like, this is why it's so important to do a title search, because we got to make sure that when we draft the mortgage, it shows that, hey, you're going in second lien. So we ensure that that document is done, we sign it, notarize, and we record it. So that way, if the investor goes to sell that property, it will show that there's a lien against this asset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lend my own money out. Yeah. I don't love, maybe this is a limiting belief, but I don't love the concept for me personally, my comfort level of kind of like, I guess we call it arbitrage of the difference of like, hey, if I have an investor who wants to get his money plugged into a deal, and that's John, and then I've got Adam over here who wants to borrow for a deal. I don't want to get kind of like caught in the middle if their deal doesn't go super well. I honestly would rather that be my money because I know the steps that I could take, and I don't want to have to advise John on what to do with Adam after like my involvement is already kind of done.
Yeah, I think that's the scary part of me being in the middle.
And I'm not trying to like.
Oh no, you're good, but it's very scary, and it happens where the deal doesn't go according to plan.
Does that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had it where the what do you call it? The project delayed. So let's say, for example, the loan was due October 1st. And then by September 1st, we're like, okay, this is not going to be.
It's not looking great.
Yeah, it's looking bad. And now we're like, okay, Keleisha, you got to get creative. What are you going to communicate to that investor? Because they're expecting to get their money October 1st.
And is that, let me clarify something really quick, if I may. Is that expectation an expectation with you, or is that expectation an expectation with the actual borrower? Like,
Both.
Are they in direct contact with each other?
No, so they're not in direct contact. Like, I'm in the middle. I kind of set that standard. Like, hey, this is the role that I play. I'll be doing the communication, and they respect that. And then I let persons know that, hey, if we put that the loan is due October 1st, real estate never go according to plan.
Yeah.
But that's the date that we're working with. But how about we put some things in place if that date goes over? For example, if it's that we give the borrower a grace period, say, hey, if you don't pay the loan by October 1st, then we're going to give you 10-day grace period. And we lay that out in the promissory note.
Okay.
And then after 10 days, maybe you want 2 months loan extension, because you're like, project got delayed, we're not going to be finished in time. We need another 2 months for it to be ready, be listed on market. We put that in the contract as well. We'll give you an additional 2 months.
Yeah.
And then if we give you 2 months, maybe you pay us like 1% interest or renewal fee, all those things. But we have these conversations beforehand.
Yeah.
We talk to that borrower, we talk to that investor to see what works for everyone, make sure everyone agrees and understands, and put it in writing.
Yeah. What do you think I do for timelines?
Pretty good.
No,
Actually, with your project?
No, what do you think I do if I'm lending money out? I'm curious if you were to guess like my stance on like being late.
You foreclose.
No, I don't foreclose. Here's my view on it. I asked you to guess.
This is
but
interesting.
It was a loaded guess. My stance on it is, and this is just me, I make decisions substantially around the time value of money. And so if I'm doing a note with somebody with my own money, whatever, 50 grand for 6 months, let's say, just a bridge thing for them. And we're doing that note up front, I'm going to make sure that they know that the penalty, if they go late, hurts a lot. And if they don't like that, my question is, do you plan on being late? Like, is there any situation that you could see that you might be late? Because let's restructure it in a way that works for you.
Yeah.
You know, so if you think your project might take 4 months, let's do this note for 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Let's work that out now.
Yeah.
But when that note is due, here's my thing.
Yeah.
When that note is due, I'm expecting you to deliver on what you said you would do.
That makes
the
sense.
same exact way that when I'm telling you, I'm giving you like a commitment to do this bridge loan with you, when I tell you yes as James, you better 100% believe that I'm going to do what I told you I would do. Because that's what we expect of each other, right?
And I'm glad you brought that up, because we've taken that approach where if we know that they're going to refinance.
Yeah.
And we're seeing now where refinance is taking way longer than expected. So if they come back and they're like, Keleisha, I need the loan for 6 months. We're like, based on experience and what we've seen, take an additional 2 months.
Yeah.
So take the loan for 8 months.
Jared just posted something in the group the other day about somebody's like multifamily refi taking like 6 months. Did you see that in the Facebook group?
6 months?
Yeah. It was some weird stuff with it. They switched up the closer with a different attorney's office, and they wouldn't disclose to the borrower who that was. It was red flags. Yeah. But I don't want to get too much into that. But yeah, point is,
it's getting crazy.
Refis can take a while, especially if like, if you're personally guaranteeing and you've become less bankable in that time, and they have to have other guarantors, or like you go down the cycle.
I just thought we're in the middle of one right now. We started the refi. We're in September?
Yeah.
And we started the refi
September
in
20th.
September. See?
Yeah.
We started the refi like the first week in August. And we were like so close to the finish line.
Like
and then
7
we
weeks.
found out that the lender last minute doesn't want to use that appraisal. So now we got to start all the way over. And we're like, come on. It's like the simple things. Like they just keep doing the delay. So we just tell people like, take it for an extra 2 months just to be safe.
My thing with lenders is, you know, when I was newer to investing, I would kind of see who had the best rate, and I would, you know, maybe I could close with them. Maybe it's a really clean deal and they could get a closing done.
Yeah.
Now I have different lenders for different things. Like if I'm buying a primary residence, that's a way different kind of loan than like a commercial construction financing, but different lenders for different things. But now I just go to who I know can get it done. Like I'm not trying to like shop 8 different people. I might go to either 1 or 2, and then I'm going to go with who I know can close the deal. Because
and that's a solid point too, because if you go with who you know can close the deal, that means there's a 99% they're going to go through. They're not going to back out, because you have people now getting cold feet. I'll commit to lending, and you draft the paperwork and then they disappear. And I tell persons too, like, if the deal works and you can pay a certain return, do it. Create a win-win situation for everyone. Don't be like, no, I want the lowest rate possible. Like, duh, we're investors. We want the lowest rate, want to pay less money. But if you structure it where you create a win-win, that investor will want to reinvest with you. And I think that's a great approach to take too.
What are some rates that like people might see if they're working with you? If you want to talk about that.
Oh yeah, I'm an open book. You can see anywhere between, let me be realistic. For my personal deals, like if an investor knows that I'm the one taking on the loan, I can get like 10% annualized, 8% annualized for 12 months. But when I'm doing the connecting role, raising capital for other people, you'll see anywhere between 12 to 15%.
Plus points or just
no
flat?
Point, just flat.
Oh, it's still not bad.
So it's still not bad. And then they're making an addition where if the project goes beyond, they're making like an extension fee up front. Or the interest, I did one right now and it's crazy. 12% for 6 months.
Annualized or flat?
Flat.
12% flat, 6 months?
12% flat, 6 months. If you're late, you go to 18%. Flat.
1 day, even just
1 day.
That's kind of my thing.
Yeah, and then he's like, you get 30 days and it's 18%. After that, you pay 18% annualized per day.
Well, so 18% annualized is actually a lower rate than 18% flat for 6 months.
No, so you'd have to pay the 18% up to technically 7 months. And then after that, his late fee per day, I think it worked out to like $30-something a day. And I was like, so we had like multiple meetings, because that investor was like, do you understand my terms? And he's like, yes. And we went as far as putting that exact number in writing. And then after he was like 2 days late. And I was like, I know this guy. You're going to have to pay that 18%. And
Did he do it?
Yeah. He had to. I was like, you cannot burn that bridge. He will lend, and he's quick, but that's his terms.
I can usually fund a deal if you have clean title and like lien search and title and the docs are ready to go. I can fund a deal in 2 days sometimes if it's like $250,000 or less. But I am like a stickler on terms and don't go late.
That's the thing too. Is like I also like if anyone wants money like in 1 day, I'm like, I'm not your girl. I can
do it if I know you for sure. I can do it. I can do it on a handshake if we've done business together.
Well, yeah. If I've never like do anything, I was like, no, I need time. I need to do due diligence. I need to make sure that person who's coming into the deal, they're good and they're getting themselves in the right deal. I've had loans where people.
Oh, here we go. This is the good stuff. Here we go. Get the good stuff. What happened now? You have loans where what happened?
So I have a personal relationship with some of these lenders. Freaking amazing terms. The borrower just stopped paying the monthly payment.
Okay, it's not a great look.
And I was like, hey, what's going on? And they're like, oh, the property didn't make money this month. And this was a rental.
That's not how that works.
I was like, yeah, that doesn't matter. Like, you have an obligation to pay the person monthly, whether it's out of your pocket, I don't care. Just figure it out. It's been like 6 months.
They still haven't paid?
No. And then the loan is also past due. When I tell you, like, these people are dragging their feet as if, it's okay. So now we're going a step further and we're just gonna foreclose. Because I'm like, and this is how I'm like, I don't understand people. Like, if you make a commitment to something, like it's people's money, respect that, and try to make an effort to do something.
Yeah.
And it's a learning lesson for me. I mean, like I've seen certain people qualities, and there's certain borrowers like I will never work with again.
Yeah.
And then also looking at if something like this should happen again, what measures can I put in place to prevent that?
Mitigate risk.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew what I was going to say earlier. My whole thing with like late fees that really hurt, it's not because I feel like being a jerk out there. I have no need to be like, rude towards people or not greedy. I always try to be fair with folks. Here's why I do that. I'm going to make decisions about the use of that money based on when I know it's coming back to me. So if I know August 31st, that 50K is coming back, I know that in September, I could allocate that 50K plus interest towards like a multifamily syndication, right?
Yeah.
And in this example, and I'm an investor, that's my business, right? So if I was going to take that 50K and put it into this other deal, that might be a 5-year deal, but now I missed that. That costed me maybe a lot. And so now that restricted my ability to do that. So I have to make up for it via the late fees.
See, I've never looked at it that way.
Yeah.
I looked at it as like missing an opportunity. Like you committed to something else, but when you just break it down about missing an opportunity that's going to cost you, I've never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
So that's actually a good point.
I've lent to close buddies. I've lent to close buddies. I had a buddy who I kind of explained to him the situation. I was like, I actually don't. On this one, I don't care. We had a late period of 2 months.
Yeah.
I think it was for 8-month note, and you could go 2 more months. But after 8 months, it started accruing penalties. I was like, I don't care if you actually go in that penalty zone because I make a lot of money like in that. And he did, and then I'll have another clause in there. It's like if you go past that penalty, it's like you're in default.
Have you ever had to like foreclose on anyone?
No, but I'm not doing this at scale.
Same.
It's mostly like people who it's opportunistic.
That's always the scary part. I gotta have to foreclose on somebody, but it never happened.
Yeah, I mean, eventually, if you do enough of these, I think you will. So somebody texted me this morning. They needed $25K to finish a flip or something. So I don't know. I have a list of questions I've created.
Yeah.
I hate reinventing the same thing over and over. So now what I do is I just save a list of questions. I send that to them right from the bat.
To make it easier.
Because like I found that people in need, they want to find the solution to their need very quickly, and you're likely not the first person they talk to when they're in that kind of like maybe a little bit of panic. Yeah. And so it's like, can we get on the phone? It's like, well, no, no. I
not happening.
I unfortunately can't. Like I can't just. I wish I could. Yeah. I do. I can't just like take a phone call from anyone who just texts me like, hey, can we hop on the phone really quick so that I can tell you more about my problem and see if you can solve it. It's like I can't really do that because I'm pretty scheduled. So anyway, I have this list of questions, but it's like simple stuff. It's like, how much do you need? When do you need it? How can you be sure that you're going to pay me back? Yeah. What are you offering? Right? You came to me with a problem, and what are you proposing for the solution? Yeah. I could read the different.
It's crazy because I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like person would text me, email, hey, I need money now.
And that's a great thing, right? But you can't just
like
do drop what you're doing.
Yeah, I was like, I can't like these are the things that I'm gonna need. And then we have like a form, so they have to fill out the form.
There you go.
Like I don't care who you are, I'm like, hey, like just please fill out this form. Because that way then my underwriter can do his due diligence. Like whether it's an existing project, then we're gonna assume, okay, you already have your term sheet, you have certain things in place already. So can you just give us that so we can just verify our numbers? Yeah. And you find the ones who are really serious would have all those information. And then the ones who are like, no, I don't have this, I don't have that. I'm like, I can't give you that money. Yeah. Because then I can't vet, like, I don't know if I'm over leveraged. Yeah. With this deal.
How many deals are you doing in a month?
In a month?
Yeah.
I'm doing like 4 to 6.
That are actually going through full, like.
Around 4 of them are going through full, and I'm seeing now like these are taking longer to close. We're working on like 2 that's closing today, and we've been working on those since like August, like the first week of August. And some of the delays could be paperwork. Is just delaying, or what do you call it? I just lost my train of thought.
Okay. The title commitment?
Title commitment is taking longer. We had one where the title commitment came back. I missed it, but thank God the escrow agent was going through. There was the previous seller didn't have the rights to sell the property. So we had the borrower close with a different title company. Mm-hmm. The seller who signed off on that legally wasn't the seller for the property. So he closed on it, issued a title commitment to the first, the hard money lender. So when I came in for the second, the title company was like, wait, Keleisha, something's not right. The person who sold the property, the actual seller, is not the actual seller. So I can't even issue you a title commitment policy for the second loan.
That's weird.
So it was so much back and forth. So they had to make a claim against a previous title company. They had to fix that. Now it's sorted out. But
how long did that take? I've heard those take a while.
3 weeks.
That took 3 weeks?
I had a good escrow agent.
Oh my gosh. We had
3
one,
weeks.
I had one that, they were like, this might take like a year.
Oh no, first we were lucky. It took 3 weeks because she caught it, reach out to them, get a letter, reach out to the hard money lender. And then during this entire time, the lender in second, their funds were just sitting in escrow. Yeah. And they're like, Keleisha, how long is this gonna take? If it's gonna take long, I need my money back because I could invest in another deal. Yeah. But we kind of sweetened the pot to be like, if it goes beyond like a month, we'll pay you interest. Yeah. On 1 month while it's sitting in escrow. Yeah. But it got sorted. They felt confident, and we got the actual title commitment, and everything was good. So we're like, okay, now you can disperse the funds. Yeah.
What's the best source of new business for you?
Repeat borrowers.
Repeat. Do you ever worry that, because they're going to see these names on the legal description, on the documents, right? They see
for the lender
and borrower's name, right?
Yeah. Most of the time, the lenders are in an entity name.
Mm-hmm. It's not hard to, I guess, go on Sunbiz and find out who it is, right? Yeah. Do you ever consider that they might do that, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And like there's a 1% chance they'll do that. There's a 1% chance the borrower is gonna go around me, but I've had one person one person that has ever done that. Yeah. But in the biz, like most borrowers come back. Yeah. Like even when they pay off the lender.
Because you're solving a problem for them. Yes.
I'm managing the transaction. They don't have to worry about, oh, now I need to go and update this lender. We talk all the time. So when they give us that update, we're doing investor relations. We're communicating with that lender. We're coordinating the paperwork. When it's time for them to get paid off, like we're coordinating that. If they need like an extension, they're like, hey, you already have that relationship with the person. Like, solve this issue for me. So, and as you said, like you have your repeat borrowers who see the value that you're bringing. So they'll just keep coming back. Yeah.
So Q3 is ending in a few days, 10 days.
The toughest quarter ever.
Let's talk about it. What was tough about it for you?
You see all these deals in escrow, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna make bank. Either they fall out, the borrower disappear. I've had borrowers who just disappear.
Do you think they found it elsewhere for faster, cheaper?
Either they lost the contract or
that's annoying.
Yeah, most of the time they lost the contract and they don't communicate.
Yeah.
So we don't know anything. But like, and things are just moving super slow. When we're repaying back, whenever we're repaying investors, we kind of line them up with another deal. So when that payoff takes longer, like you mentioned, then we're like, okay, we just lost out on a deal because he had committed to investing on another deal, but the refi took longer. So I think like moving forward for Q4, you gotta have to make up for Q3 and kind of work 10 times harder.
10 times smarter?
Smarter. Yes, smarter. And then it's crazy when it comes on to like finding new investors. Like I'm finding my sweet spot.
Yeah. What is it? What is the sweet spot?
The sweet spot is people who are not in real estate as investors.
Oh, 100%.
Like I'm finding, like going to the weirdest events, I'm finding people who I went to a car show and the guy was like, I have X amount of money sitting in my personal savings. He was like bragging, I'm making like 200,000 in my high yield savings account. I was like, how much are you making? He's like, 5% annualized. I'm like,
bro.
I was like, oh,
there are
I
opportunities.
can do 8% annualized. He's like, this was his face.
Yeah.
This guy got lit up. And then he's like, wait, your whole presentation, you mentioned that I can pull money out of my HELOC. I didn't even know that. He's in tech. A car show.
Yeah.
Saturday morning, I'm at a car show.
Have you done a deal yet?
Yeah, we're in the process of doing one.
Nice. Okay.
Literally met him, today's what, Thursday?
Today's Thursday.
Met him at the car show
Wait,
Saturday morning.
No, today's Friday.
Yeah, so I met him at the car show last Saturday morning.
There's another car show tomorrow morning.
Where is
Those
it?
car shows?
On the river.
Oh, there's one at Amateur Works. Those are good too.
Tomorrow's the EIMG call. I'm
Oh,
building
yeah,
a lead
10.
team.
Yeah.
It's recorded though
I
for
don't know
you.
that one. No, the one I went to was a guy at the Chamber of Commerce joined that. He
Yeah.
kind of did a separate event for that. But I'm finding like those little small pockets, get those like intimate conversation, people are like connecting you.
Yeah, I don't know that real estate people being the private lender at 8 to 10% interest. I don't know that they're the best candidates because
No.
they can maybe hustle and find a project of their own, maybe flip or whatever, and they might be able to make 15%. So like 8% isn't competitive for me. It's like, okay, well, I'm not going to pay you 15%.
It's not gonna.
so, yeah.
And it's crazy too. Like I've had, this is why it's so important with building relationships, because I've built relationships with persons at like retirement companies where I send them leads for whatever person want to set up a self-directed.
Yeah.
If persons go to them and be like, I want to set up my self-directed and I also want to invest in real estate, they send them over to me.
That's a good idea. We need to do that.
Yeah, literally, like I've
good
gotten
idea.
people like that. They will just call me, hey, this person said, go check out Keleisha's website.
Yeah,
Set up a call.
We've been hammering our self-directed IRA. I sent him like $1 million of business in the last quarter.
If you have that one custodian, have a meeting with them and be like, this is what I want to do.
All right, I'm gonna take a note here. Send an email right now. Yeah.
Literally, I proposed it like a year ago. I was like, hey, this is what I'm doing. I would love if XYZ. She's like, I can't legally do this. I'm like, no, just you know how to finesse it and send them over. And then every time someone wants to set up an account, I do the introduction, and then they just send persons over to me.
Yeah. Seamless.
Yeah. And
Cool.
it's like, those are the people I want.
What else? What about your background? Right? Immigrated here. What
No
is?
background in finance, no background in, I don't know how I'm in this business with money. I'm not a numbers person.
Yeah.
You're a numbers guy.
I'm a numbers person.
I'm not. I don't have a finance background. I don't have a real estate background. I do have a marketing background. That's what I did. I have my bachelor's in. And then I think what makes me fit in this role so much, because back home, college, high school, I was very involved in extracurricular activities. So I'm always doing leadership roles. I'm always like talking to different people. So I think like everything that I did in my past, kind of helped me to where I'm at today, which is crazy. How when I got here, it's like I don't want to do anything that
What
I
year
was
was
doing
it
back
again?
home in Jamaica.
No, what year was it again?
I left Jamaica 2018, and then gave that up because I hated marketing. I hated dealing with people. Corporate made me just hate that.
Yeah.
And then came to the U.S. and went to cleaning tables
Where?
on Martha's Vineyard,
Okay.
which is crazy. For me, like, we look down on those type of jobs. You give up your degree to go work in a restaurant, to clean tables, and to seat people at tables. And for me, that was completely new, because we don't do that back home, like having a hostess. So when I was like, you're gonna be a hostess, I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
Whenever a person get up, you should clean the tables. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But I realized being a hostess, like people are coming through the door, you're the first person that they're meeting. If they're waiting for a table, that's where conversation starts. So then I would just hear different people like, I'm in real estate, and a person who's from New York, and I have a house on the vineyard, and well, that's how I also learned about real estate. The owner of the restaurant was heavily involved in real estate and how he was structuring deals creatively. So I'm always picking his brain.
Yeah.
literally, and he get excited. I'm like, tell me about this deal. How did you negotiate this? And I was like, this could be a thing. He even told me, he's like, go get your realtor license. I was like, no, I'm not. Yeah. But no background.
So that was kind of a catalyst. It sparked an interest for you to pursue this further?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then when I kind of took what do you call it? I took a leap of faith and started investing out of state in Memphis during COVID. Yeah. Still working 80 plus hours in my job. Yeah. Okay. And I was like, yeah, you're crazy. But then when I saw the burr would turned out bad, because I couldn't get a refi loan, so I had to sell it. But then when I saw the money that I made, I was like, imagine if I commit and go all in to this. Just take a what do you call it? I always say take a bet on yourself. Yeah. Just go all in.
The best investment that you'll ever make is the investment you make in yourself.
I just quit.
Yeah. So you quit the Martha's Vineyard. When did you get to Tampa?
October 2022.
So coming up on 2 years.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, coming up on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally quit, and I've never been here before. I just Googled Tampa.
How'd you know to Google Tampa? I just Googled.
I Googled like best places
Tampa.
to live in, and I started narrowing it down. Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to live here. I don't want to live there. And it was between Tampa and Nashville. Yeah. And I literally did any, mini, minor, mo, catch a puppy by the toe.
What?
It's a Caribbean thing.
Catch a what now?
Puppy by the so any.
What is that though?
It's like this whole thing like.
But what are you saying?
So if you want to make a decision with something.
No, I know that. I know it. Catch a tiger is what we say here.
Catch a puppy.
No, but what is a poppy?
Puppy.
Oh, like a dog. A small
like a dog.
Like a young dog.
Yeah.
Oh,
catch
yeah.
a puppy by the toe. What?
Yeah. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by its toe.
Oh, maybe it's
if
not
he
that.
hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. That's how it goes in the United States.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a puppy by the toe. If you ever let him go, eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Puppy.
I need to actually check to see if we screw it up as Caribbean people.
I don't think it's either of us are screwing it up. There's like different phrases and stuff, right? Yeah.
No, that's literally how I landed on Tampa. Because it was also good, though I also Googled like markets to live in that it's a growing real estate market. Yeah. And it was Tampa or Nashville. I chose Tampa. I came here for like 2 days to look for an apartment. Went back and I was like, yep, I'm moving. Nice. And I just moved here. And
now you're here. 2 years.
2 years.
Coming up.
Scary.
It's awesome.
It's been worth it.
Cool.
But I live somewhere else now.
If somebody wants to work with you, how should they plug in? It's the best platform. Email. What's your email? We'll throw
admin@kccapitalgrp.com.
Cool. We'll put a little
the thing at the bottom. Yeah. Instagram is always good. Like I'm always there on Instagram, but this is a whole different conversation. But I think sometimes it gets a little bit overwhelming. Yeah. And then trying to respond to everyone, because I think I have this thing where I need to respond to every single message, and I've learned that you are not able to get to every single DM.
I know that feeling.
So I tell people like, do email, because that, like my email is always clean. Yeah. Like I'm checking that.
You can catch up at night and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
But
all right.
Good.
You ready to dive into overrated, underrated?
Overrated, underrated?
Overrated, underrated is where we choose usually local things. We choose local restaurants or activities or whatever, and I get your opinion if these things are overrated or underrated. You understand what I'm asking?
But now I'm like, am I the best candidate because I don't go anywhere in Tampa?
I bet you go some places. Car shows to find investors.
I would say car shows underrated.
Car shows underrated. All right.
Car shows are underrated.
Building connections within your community for your real estate business. Underrated or overrated?
That's definitely underrated.
Definitely underrated.
Definitely. Like
definitely
that's
underrated.
Crucial.
All right. Going to real estate meetups. Depends.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like in the middle ground because it depends on who your target audience is and what level you are in your investing journey. If you're completely experienced and the type of investment, the asset type that you want to invest in.
For sure.
So I think it's definitely like neutral. Try everything. When I just moved here, I tried every single meetup over and over until I found the one that I like. And then I was like, okay, this meetup is too high level for me. I'm not ready for that type of meetup.
Which meetup is that?
The multifamily one.
Okay.
And then I was like, okay, but when I build connections and person are looking for that type of event, I can be like, oh, there's a meetup here.
Yeah.
Go to that meetup, seeing that that's what you're looking for. So I would recommend, especially for beginners, go everywhere.
Yeah. I've felt that before where you're like, I'm not in the right, this is not the right.
Yeah, I'm like, it's too much.
Yeah. It wasn't at that one. It was a different event, but yeah, I definitely know what you mean. Busch Gardens, underrated or overrated? Roller coasters and stuff?
Not a fan.
That's crazy. I was just thinking about that.
Busch
Not
Gardens,
a fan?
I hate roller coasters.
All right, so overrated then. It's overrated for you. Overrated.
I'll cry.
Alligators?
Underrated. There's too much.
Explain your ideology. Like,
just see them. Like people are like, they're all over.
They're like invasive. Yeah. I don't know.
The highway, like I just in my apartment, I've lived there for 2 years, and then they send out a notice. They're like, oh, letting you know that we've actually seen some alligators coming up from the ponds. I'm like,
I haven't seen many alligators here in Tampa. I've seen some, but not too many.
oh, I've seen a lot.
Yeah. I mean, we're pretty urban though, so.
That's why.
Yeah.
But up in like Carrollwood,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm like those things creep me out.
Yeah.
That's overrated.
Oh, so you said
No, that's underrated. That's very, very underrated.
The risk of an alligator is underrated.
The risk
All
of
right,
the alligator.
all right.
Those are bad.
Cool.
Go to Florida beaches.
All right, we got 2 more. I'll finish out with one that I also asked Alex. Florida beaches.
Overrated.
Overrated? You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well,
Jamaica.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The value in EIMG. I have to ask.
Actually, very underrated. You're cheap.
Well.
Like you're underrated.
Yeah.
100%.
All right, I'm jacking the price by 10,000%.
Like it's the value like you bring. I was telling someone at our meetup last night of why I joined, and you find mastermind that they're virtual. Having your in-person community, it's so much valuable.
Yeah.
And people don't see that. So I think that is underrated.
People do see it though. That's why we have like 82 members
This
today.
is growing too.
It's growing, but yeah, we've increased a lot of value and the price has gone up. So yeah, continuing to just pour value into it is kind of our vision. So
And it makes it just keep going.
let's keep going. That's on the shirt. It's literally the slogan on the shirt. Keep going.
Oh yeah, the one on the sleeve.
On the back of the shirt says "Keep going." Yeah.
You see that plug?
That's a good segue to finish this thing out. Keleisha, thank you for coming on the Elite Investor Show. Awesome to chat with you.
Yes.
Thank you. Good luck to your business in this quarter and beyond.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it.
I did. It was good.
Thank you.